Our annual review of WrestleMania. This was from Vegas across Saturday and Sunday, so Sunday and Monday in Australia. My colleagues for this, Eddy Cornes. Eddy, welcome back.
Thank you for having me, Gerard.
Nims Azur, welcome.
Thanks, Gerard. Good to be back.
So it's largely thumbs down from our loyal wrestling correspondents. I think it's up there with one of the worst WrestleManias ever. We're way too generous. Not a fan of this year's WrestleMania. Too gimmicky. The backdrop is really interesting here, and the ESPN deal, which you can always tell with the wrestling crowd, once it was announced and the visceral response of the crowd suggested it wasn't very popular. Give me the background here.
So obviously, this is the first pay-per-view or premium live event that was on ESPN's new streaming app, and it was also on ESPN and ESPN2.
Correct,
on
for the
cable.
first hour.
Yeah, for the first hour. So there was a bit of a simulcast as well. So really, WWE and ESPN have gone into this big partnership, and the fans, they weren't so responsive.
Yeah, I mean, typically it's also $40. Like, it's
Yes.
$40 US, which is a lot of money. And we normally get the bad end of the stick internationally with wrestling events, but we just pay for Netflix, and it's awesome. You get Raw, SmackDown. In America, you have to pay for 3 different things, and it's a lot of money. So it's tough for the fans.
Crowds were down. It was Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, I was at Allegiant Stadium last year for WrestleMania, and that, I reckon, is the problem. This is a repeat market. They've gone back to back because last year's was so successful that they've thought, let's just do it again. But there's a lot of other factors too. Like last year was John Cena's last WrestleMania appearance. Last year broke all records. And eventually, when you break all records, there's got to be a point where you just don't break it anymore, especially as Eddy mentioned, like cost of living pressures. And I think these were the highest ticket prices in quite a while.
Yeah, they were. And last year was riding the coattails of WrestleMania 40. This year had a pretty terrible 6-month build up to WrestleMania. So people weren't excited, and it was just too expensive.
As a television product, it lacked one of the key planks of the WWE.
It did. So it had barely any video packages, so many ads, which was just ridiculous. There was only about 2 hours of matches and 2 hours of ads, which is unbelievable for a paid live event on both days. So that was ridiculous as well.
I have to tread carefully here since commercials are what pay my mortgage, but but it was one of those things where all of the pomp and circumstance you're used to, and I think if we use a footy terminology, if the AFL Grand Final was outweighed by commercials and live performances and less football than the actual spectacle, then you'd see a bunch of uproar. And really, that's what a lot of wrestling fans are. It's like, this is WrestleMania. We want to see 4 hours of wrestling, not 2 hours and 35 minutes of wrestling and the rest ads.
Yeah.
And it was in daylight the whole way through. So, my view, I think it's all entrances and fireworks and the rest completes itself. It did feel like they tortured the entrances and didn't have the nighttime light show.
The presentation lacked this year. The stage wasn't as good as previous years. It just felt like they didn't quite have a theme. Normally there's a theme for WrestleMania. They didn't have that. And like you said, the light shining through the big sunroof at Allegiant Stadium just didn't make the entrances look as good as they normally do.
Especially when you got a like-for-like comparison with literally 12 months ago, because we saw how awesome the stage was at last year's WrestleMania at Allegiant Stadium. We saw that when it went into the dark for those main events, how awesome it was. And you've been to Allegiant Stadium, you have too, Eddy.
Yeah,
it's a tremendous world-class facility. And it's a real spectacle that was lost. And the worst part about it is we know how good it could be because we literally had it 12 months ago.
Australia's involvement, Rhea Ripley is again the women's.
Just like I said, I mean, it was an interesting build for those two. They didn't quite nail the lead in, but I thought when they got in the ring, it was good. I would have liked them to get 5 more minutes. I don't know what you think about that, Nims.
Yeah, well, first off, this is probably Jade Cargill's, who was the women's champion going into it. It's her first title defense after having it for over 160 odd days, and it's the best match she's ever had in her career, but that's because Rhea Ripley is that good. For those that don't know, Adelaide girl, she's been doing this for quite a while now. She's been a guest on this program many a time, and in fact, this is her 4th world title that she had at WrestleMania. Her first was in 2021, and after WrestleMania 39, you spoke to her after that win, Gerard, and she just keeps leveling up more and more. But it was, as you said, Eddy, all of the women's matches weren't given the time that I reckon was needed, but I guess they had to squeeze in one more ad for the Hulk Hogan doco.
I know, the best part of wrestling is wrestling, and it felt like they forgot that this year.
So it does tell us about Rhea's place. So she had that injury when she was the champ, correct? And now she clearly holds the status to be worthy of the championship again.
Absolutely. And the fact that this is the 4th time she's won it at WrestleMania, there's not a lot of people that go into WrestleMania as champion and walk out with it. So the fact that they've chosen this to be her crowning glory is a real testament to her. And she's still one of the biggest stars, male or female, in the company. I mean, and not the Adelaide bias here, Eddie, but you got to admit that when she goes back home and when she comes back to Australia, she also wears her pride of being an Adelaidean on her sleeve.
Just look at the crowd reactions. Like, she is clearly one of the top 5 biggest people at WWE, and it's a remarkable story.
The main event. So night 1, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Yes or no?
No.
Do you want to start with that one?
It just didn't make story sense. In a vacuum, the match was good, but it felt like a slap in the face to the people who had been following Cody and Randy, not only for the last 7 weeks, but for 15 years. Cody wrestled as the bad guy for whatever reason, which didn't make sense. And overall, it was just a main event that didn't really feel in place with the storyline that they were trying to tell.
Absolutely not. And there was a storyline that was built in. They've got 20 years of history. Randy Orton was legitimately Cody Rhodes' mentor when he debuted in 2007. So you've got all this background and history. And for some reason, they thought, no, we'll put that to the side. Let's involve Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll instead.
Good. And then night 2, Roman Reigns and CM Punk.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. Unbelievable. 2 of the greatest of all time, just putting on a show. There was no involvement from anyone else. It was just one-on-one. It was perfect.
That's what was so surprising, that it was just an old school brawl between those two guys, because we've seen for the past couple of WrestleManias bloodline involvement. Yep. It was almost like the Avengers assemble. There was just so much happening. And the fact that this was just a pure story of, Roman Reigns, who's got issues with Punk, saying that he's too old, he shouldn't be at the top, and Punk with the spirit, but just not having the body to live out that dream. And it was just a perfect main event. As Eddie said, no interference, nothing. It was just pure pro wrestling. Went for over 30 minutes as well, and that's what we wanted. Like you said, we wanted wrestling.
Yeah.
Intros went for 16 minutes. I timed those. We ever going to get there?
Well, Punk's entrance, to be fair, full body chills, like goosebumps, the way the crowd kind of quieted when the music ended. And then this is going to sound ridiculous to anyone who doesn't watch wrestling, but when he says it's clobbering time, just chills everywhere. It was awesome.
Best bout, Eddie?
Oh, Punk and Roman by far.
Yep, have to say Roman Reigns and CM Punk. It's single-handedly saved the show.
Yeah.
Favorite moment?
I will go with Punk's entrance, like I said then.
I will have to say earlier on night 2 to open it, it was Obafemi,
that was awesome.
a young newcomer who's 27 years old. He's only 3 months in the main roster of the WWE, defeating Brock Lesnar, and decisively a real passing of the torch moment there. But it started night 2 off on the right way, that almost said, hey, we're sorry about the previous night. Let's do our best to forget it and move forward.
Brock Lesnar leaving his boots in the ring in that time-honoured tradition. Strangest moment?
I'm going to go with Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan only getting 5 minutes. They had one of the best builds into WrestleMania, and it ended up being a squash match. I thought it was super disrespectful to those two wrestlers. They deserve more.
As Eddie said, they are both super wrestlers. Both have grown through different paths. Liv Morgan, a part of the WWE system. Stephanie Vaquer coming from Chile, wrestling in Japan and all these other markets to come to the WWE, and they deserved so much more than the 5 minutes. But if we're talking strangest moment, Danhausen is one of the funniest and strangest things you'll ever see in WWE, and I'm just so glad that he got a little WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
Feeling I had a call about him a week ago that I didn't quite grasp. Out of 5 stars, what are you giving it? It has to be as a totality.
Yeah.
You can't split it.
So 2.5. After night 1, I was fully ready to quit watching wrestling. That's how much I hated it. Night 2's main event brought me all the way back in. It was the Godfather 3 mean. So 2.5 stars.
Very good, Eddie. Nims?
I'd have to say, night 2 did a lot of the heavy lifting. It dragged the carcass up from a 2.5 to a 4-star event for me. Night 2 was just that good. And there was some highlights at night 1, like Seth Rollins versus Gunther, the return of Paige. So it wasn't all bad on night 1. It was just Majority of it was.
Does it set it on its way to a good new cycle, or is it just a little bit in limbo?
Well, it's an interesting time because they've got 3 young stars now, Javon Evans, Obafemi, and Lash Legend on the women's side, who feel like they're ready to skyrocket into being one of the stars of the next generation of wrestling. But then they've also got Roman Reigns on top still, who's their biggest star by far, and he's now said he's going to be full-time. So what does that mean for WWE? I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, as we go into this post-WrestleMania chapter, that's normally when they have a bit of a lull, but that's normally when they do most of their experimenting and we see some of these new matchups and stuff like that. Because let's not forget, it was only about 25 years ago that this is what brought Brock Lesnar onto the scene. So you never know what's going to happen on that Raw after Mania.
Nims, Eddie, thank you.